At first, I really wanted this game to just release. Because I'm like, wow, infinite fucking content. But now that it's released, it's like people are kind of pulling back. So I'm starting to think maybe it would have just been better if the game was delayed some more and they got themselves into even more trouble and even more controversy. And like you farm the Ubisoft for more fucking content. Because this is pretty much what Ubisoft is, right? Like, if you want to, like, whole careers have began off shitting on bad products. Like, whole YouTube careers started off people shitting on, like, Star Wars and what it become. And God knows how many other YouTube careers will start shitting on Ubisoft and their game. No, I did the review, and I did a video based off that review. I didn't go so hard in the game. I didn't talk about the controversy because I like to focus on the review itself. And by God, like, what can I say about all the controversy about this game that hasn't already been said? But I like going back to this guy's videos because I think he speaks as just some guy. Like, he presents himself in the videos as, with a suit and speaking, but he can articulate what he needs to say to just the average person. I think that's a skill. Like, many people, and I included, fail to do that sometimes, but he definitely can. So let's give him a watch, shall we?
Thank you for joining me. This will be the last keynote speech I will deliver for a while. Today we discuss the continual decline of Ubisoft stock value after the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows. As a AAA studio, Ubisoft, whether they understand it or not, carries the social responsibility to set an example for the games industry and other game studios operating in the same space, not only in the quality of the games they produce, but in their work culture and professionalism.
Yeah, and this is what many companies have failed to understand because they are so big, so bloated, so global that they stop. Like, Ubisoft forgets that they set the standard for AAA games in the past, and now they're doing everything. And this is so many companies in entertainment. They're doing everything in their power to decouple from that responsibility and from what they created to, I don't know, maybe grift, maybe suck up the money from the consumer by putting out mediocre products. And what we see, that can work like once or twice. Like, you can get away with it like once or twice, but after a while, people see what the fuck's happening. Like, the consumer sees what's happening, and when that happens, you get what the situation Ubisoft's in. You get, why no one cares for Star Wars, and now Assassin's Creed is yet going to be yet another IP thrown in the fucking toilet. And God knows how many other IP. Like, you get games in entertainment that drop, but no one hears about because they don't market them. Like, you'd think a game that they dumped hundreds of millions of dollars into, they would do everything in their power to tell as many people as humanly possible. But that's just not something that happens. The game drops, then nobody plays it, then they drop the game, like Concord, the whole Concord effect, because nobody plays it.
Assassin's Creed is one of the most well-known and well-respected intellectual properties in the video game space, gaining universal praise after the series launched its first title in November 2007, nearly 18 years ago. Assassin's Creed Shadows launched yesterday. I want to make something clear. If you want to play and enjoy this video game, there is nothing wrong with that. You are allowed to enjoy and support whatever you enjoy.
And this is also a thing I've been saying. I find it so goddamn retarded. Like, if someone's enjoying a game, and then someone comes out of nowhere and be like, no, you're not allowed to enjoy this game. It's bad. It's very, very bad. I'm just arguing what people like or don't like is just a waste of fucking time. And at the end of the day, you seem like the care. Like, this isn't politics. They're fucking video games. And I understand, the cultural zeitgeist of trying to introduce politics and shit in the games, but again, politics is the minority, the 2% yelling over the 98%. And again, the reason why people are voting against all these ideological changes in games and storytelling is because people try to impose politics, impose political issues that people didn't care about in games, try to current day games. And I do believe this galvanized a lot of people to just vote against these. Galvanize people who don't care for politics. They just want to sit in the room and play their fucking video games. They're not asking to be accepted. They're just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit, play my goddamn games, and that's it. But now then you come to their fucking TV screen and be like, no, I'm going to lecture you on gender identity. Like, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm going to now vote against you. And I will be happy sitting here knowing that I've done so. I will sleep better at night knowing that I put my vote in to get you the fuck out. And when that happens, you get Donald Trump. Like, this is what happens. I can't explain it. I can explain it to the best of my ability. Like, spite is a hell of a motivator. And you can use whatever ideological labels you want to describe these people. You can throw as many ideological labels you want on them. But they're voting against you.
I will not provide critique or critical review of the quality of Assassin's Creed Shadows as a video game, for the same reason I would not verbalize critique or critical review of a child's crayon drawing posted on a refrigerator door. As a professional in the industry who has been asked to take on a leadership role by both working professionals in the industry and gamers around the world, it is not my place to criticize children or the work they produce early in their careers. I will ask some questions which I hope you will consider. Why have the actual sales numbers at launch been so low for Assassin's Creed Shadows? Why does the value of Ubisoft stock fall instead of rise after the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows, despite all the mainstream media outlets claiming the game is perfect and is the best Assassin's Creed game to ever be published? Why does the marketing for Assassin's Creed Shadows need to be so dishonest when reporting player engagement as contributing to the total number of units sold? Why are gamers around the world and Ubisoft's investors not fooled by the dishonest and manufactured positive reviews from mainstream media? It is up to the rest of the game's...
And the answer to that is simple. Like, no one has faith in Ubisoft, and they know they don't. So they're utilizing their vassals, they're utilizing game journalists, they're utilizing the people that they give access journalism to as effectively propaganda to lie to the consumer who's not fooled, to lie to their shareholders who are also not fooled. I mean, it's simple. We hear the word grift all the time, but, like, is there any other explanation why IGN gave them an 8 out of 10? I mean, it's specifically for the... And they throw away all actual critique the consumer has. The people that put food on their table that they forget that puts food on their table. Like, they throw all the criticism they have in favor of access journalism. I mean,
industry to decide if they want to watch Ubisoft and learn from their mistakes, or if they want to reject reality, pretend that everything is fine, and repeat the same mistakes that Ubisoft has made. I speak before you here, not just as a professional working in the industry, but as a gamer. and as someone striving every day to be a good man. As a gamer, as a good man, I will never support a company with senior management that cultivates a culture of sexually assaulting women or harassing people based on cultural diversity. I will never support a company that hires people based on gender, race, and sexual identity instead of talent, skill, and workplace suitability. Instead of hiring the very best applicants, people who have spent time in the real world gaining meaningful life experiences, Ubisoft hired diversity children with the sole intention of ticking check boxes.
And everyone knows this is happening. Like, they themselves say this is happening. But we have to play this charade. That, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, they themselves have this on their main page. That they are actively hiring certain people based off certain characteristics over others. Like, it is on their main page. While they said they weren't doing it. Like, I mean, there's not. I can't. It can't be lying, right? I genuinely don't think the person that wrote that article even knew or cared. Probably didn't even look at the front page. He probably is just sucking in dividends from the company, like, and all while they're doing this, the company's failing. But they have to say the right things, right? While their company's failing, so they can utilize, just ideological idiots that don't play games, don't care for games, but they've built their entire worldview off the actions of a few unreasonable people, and they force themselves to defend this bullshit.
I personally wonder what monetary incentives were awarded to Ubisoft management for this hiring malpractice.
Yeah, I mean, they got government grants. There was an entire culture being propagated that it was, one, anti-American, two, anti-gamer, anti-consumer, where checking diversity boxes would just give you money. And this was the culture they were trying to push. This was the idea they were trying to push. Unfortunately, the grift didn't work because it excluded the consumer. Like, the consumer got worse products because of this, which is why it didn't work. Like, it would have worked if they actually, made even a couple of good games based off of it. I mean, I can name a couple off the bat. Like, I know Baldur's Gate 3, like, not a single person that started working on that game was there when they finished the game. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 is still a good game, but people could point out the bugs and all the things that were missing on launch that they eventually added. They added more story to certain characters, and obviously there's mods for the game, and they fixed the bugs in Act 3. But, people see these things happening, but you're not allowed to point them out because they'll just throw ideological and emotionally charged labels on you for pointing it out. They won't tell you you're wrong. They'll just throw the label on you as a means to shut you up. And it's like, okay, I see what's happening now.
Ubisoft excluded and rejected hiring potential developers with more skill, more talent, and real passion based entirely on gender, skin color, and refusal to bow to an internet cult that wants to separate our culture based on our sexuality and willingness to reject reality.
Exactly, and they also fired people that actually knew how to do the jobs. Like, not only that, they forced devs into this idea that they don't have any, say in the product. Like, the story's written by one group, this is written by the other group, and another thing's made by, it's like all these pieces from even some parts of the planet, like some Ubisoft districts on the planet, made different parts of the game, and it all comes together like a mass producible product. And they even added clauses, and this is wild stuff. They added clauses to their contract that if you speak against the things they're putting out, if you say, yeah, this is dumb, like, that's a fireable offense. Like, these are clauses being added. So what happens is they treat it just like any other job. Like everyone demands, oh, well, the developer should just leave. And it's like, well, no, what you do is you just treat it like a job. Eventually, company will go under. You still get your money. I mean, it's easy. Like, it's easy to demand everyone else suffer. Throw themselves on their sword because this is happening, but people don't act that way. When the company eventually goes under, people with merit will make their own studios. And this is what I've heard is happening with Chinese studios and how they're making good games. Like, most of those studios were just outsourced assets from companies. They outsourced their, like, video game making to, like, certain Chinese companies. Like, certain studios for EA and certain for, like, the main, like, AAA Western games would outsource their talent to these companies. And, like, when they did that, these Chinese companies, like, maybe like Game Science, would get the experience and the understanding of making games. And then with that experience, they create their own studios. Now, I don't know if this happened with Game Science in particular, but we know this is happening with even companies in, like, South Korea, Japan, hell, even in Brazil. Like, these companies are just springing up, and they're actually making legitimately interesting games because they have the talent, they have the know-how, they know what to make, and they're making good, like, they're benefiting off that. They're making good games, whereas in the West, they're it's like they're shitting on their talent and they're making mediocre products.
You are free to enjoy playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. There is nothing wrong with that. You are free to support a company like this. There is nothing wrong with that. You will not be judged here. But for those of you out there who want games to be better, for those of you out there who have the fire within you and the strength to forge new paths to the future, for those of you tough enough to accept reality for what it is and are able to look at the world with clear, open eyes, now is the time for you to step forward and reach for excellence. For those who know you were born to make video games, I urge you, develop your skills, work hard, understand your talents, and spend time in the real world and gain meaningful life experiences. Learn what it means to be human. Then, when you are ready, join us in the games industry because we need you. We need you to create the video games of the future. This will be the last keynote speech I will deliver for a while. Whether from retirement or death, a number of torches of legacy have been dropped and left idle on the ground. I must spend time mustering the strength to pick up those torches of legacy so I can bear them for as long as I can. And when the time is right, I will pass those torches on to the right people. I hope you understand. Thank you for joining me today. Gamers first.
Oh, God. Yeah, and that's what we need. People who actually, experience other cultures, and use that experience to do the shit like make video games. Like, some of the best games came from, well, in the past, some of the best games came from just nerds. Game people who played games are like, okay, I'm gonna make a game for gamers. Thank you for understanding. We are not here to criticize people for enjoying playing this game. There are more important things in life to tend to on God. Oh God. You know he means business when he brings out his Agent 47 Hitman Tux. Nobody who has ever played or watched, say, any Japanese media, be it a game or a movie, an anime or live action, would have ever been capable of making anything as atrocious as Assassin's Creed Shadow. Not a single otaku was on that team. Yeah, they're trying to just make teams of yes men, teams of people that will just say, do what they're told, and that works for a factory, right? But that doesn't work for art. Someone needs to act say what you want about Lucas Arts, Lucas Films, George Lucas himself. He can make damn good art. He carried Star Wars on his back, and yeah, he outsourced a couple of the movies, but he was at the helm. The crayon drawing comparison was absolutely perfect. Soft like velvet. Hits like a freight train. Yeah. As a solo indie dev, isolated in a small country, I appreciate the encouragement. Oh, God. Great speech and looks dapper as hell, my man. You're a living legend. I don't understand why I like this channel so much. You like this channel because he has this ability to just speak to the average person. I mean, this is something he can do, and very few people can do this. Understand, be an intellectual, but can talk to the average person. And he is a gamer, and he is a game developer. I 100% believe he plays games, he makes games, so he knows what the hell's going on, and he's experienced the world. And he failed. And he got back up and was like, I see things happening, and I don't agree with them, so I'm gonna do something about it. But anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Good video. Peace.